record. We always get great questions.
All right.
All right, we're
Uh,
officially recording. Welcome. So this is my, what is today? The 14th? My June 14 Ask Me Anything Live. Welcome, Dustin.
Hi. We spoke about a year ago, I believe, on the
I,
phone relatively brief.
yes, well, I'm looking at your poster behind you and I'm like, I feel like we've spoken before.
Yeah, and I've been getting your emails ever since, and I usually get off of people's email lists pretty quickly, but I'm like, no, I know this is this is on my I really need to get to this. And of
Yeah.
course, my kick in the butt is feeling like I'm being forced to.
Oh, okay. So what's going on? Is there something I can help
Um,
you with?
yeah, I'm dealing with an IP issue.
Okay.
Uh, and I've had my company since January 2015.
Hmm.
I've been working with the brand of the Evolved Masculine since that time, maybe even a bit before. I've written
Okay.
a book and published it under that name.
Hmm.
I've have the website, have been multiple programs, blah blah blah. Some youngins 10 years younger than myself have just popped up on social media, basically using the same name and running evolved masculine retreats. And my
Ah.
my Instagram is evolved masculine, and they've started one evolved dot masculine.
Oh gosh.
And I'm like, yeah, there's one thing to be inspired by, and then there's theft. And this
Totally.
feels like theft.
Totally. No, I hear ya. So, the quick caveat is in the context of these open calls, I obviously can't give anything that's direct legal advice.
Of
In these
course.
scenarios, though, the type of thing I would look at, do you know whether or not, and I assume you probably haven't yet looked at like a trademark or have you done anything along those lines?
I don't think so. I believe I have my DBA with the evolved masculine because my the company name is Evolved Enterprises Inc.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Got it. So you're using that as a DBA. Where are you? Remind me where you're located. Where's
San
your
Diego
San
County.
Diego? So is your business registered in California?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know where these other folks are
Colorado.
located? Colorado.
Yeah.
Because the thing to quickly figure out what I would typically walk somebody through in a scenario like this is, um, where are they showing up? You know what I mean? Do they have an official business entity formed? Is the name of that entity, and where they operate, is that at all infringing where, you've got multiple things to address, or is it just their online presence? You would definitely want to explore whether or not they are pursuing a trademark registration, right? So you could check the uspto.gov, and do a search for your brand and kind of variations on your brand. You want to search, you know, words that would come up if they were doing something very similar. It sounds like they're doing like basically the exact same wording as your main DBA.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah. But you could run some searches and if you need help with that, I mean people obviously hire me to do that. I can do what's called a knockout search. It's $300 for people that go on to pursue a trademark registration that gets just folded into the total price, so it doesn't stay a separate fee. We just continue with the trademark registration, but that's a way to have an initial look at what's out there. Are there any brands that are using language similar to yours that would preclude you from obtaining a trademark registration in the marketplace? And then, you'd want to,
Would this count though? Since this is they are using a name that's very similar or exact.
right, right. I'm just saying if your path were, for example, you were to say, okay, I'm ready to pursue a trademark registration,
Yeah, probably won't.
right? Yeah. You do a knockout search first to make sure
Uh,
that they don't have an application submitted and that there's nobody else in the marketplace that is infringing, by, or that, alternatively, you're not potentially infringing. But based on the length that you've been using yours, I suspect that's not the case. But we'd want to know. We'd want to have a look, and we'd want to look through the USPTO and some other places online and make sure that we've done a basic level of due diligence before proceeding with a trademark registration. Um, sending out cease and desist, or, trying to get somebody to stop bad behavior does become easier when you have a trademark registration. So, and it's not to say that you don't have rights to your brand name right now, because there are common law trademark rights, right? So you can have federal level, like a registration right. You can have state rights, especially for brick and mortar type businesses. Some businesses will seek local, state level protection. The fact that you're online, and I'm guessing your brand is worldwide, you'd want to go right for a federal level registration, and you'd want to be able to prevent people, obviously, from capitalizing on your established brand.
Which is very much what it feels like they're doing.
Yeah, totally, totally. And it sometimes, giving people the benefit of the doubt, although it irritates me to no end that people do this, like what you're talking about. If they're young, if they don't have a lot of experience in the online space, like I have no idea who the people are on the other side of this. They really could just be ignorant of what's what
I think that's likely the case, honestly.
Okay. Let mommy come up in a little bit and I'll help you, okay? Sorry, I'm home with 2 kiddos right now.
I have kids, I understand. So yeah, I mean, that is my general belief, is they're young and ignorant, and unfortunately it's going to be my job to teach them the lesson.
And a lot of people still are ignorant of, doing business online. It's crazy how often that happens, actually. And give me 1 second. I'm going to go run and get a glass of water. I forgot to bring my water down. If you'll let me pause just for a minute, I will be right back. I'm really quick. So, I mean, you'd have some options. You just, especially once you've got an application filed, you're in a much stronger position to be enforcing your name brand in the marketplace. If you're going after like a registration that reflects your brand. Do you have a tagline or anything that you use along with Evolved Masculine, or is that primarily?
I have a tagline with my book, not necessarily for the company.
Okay. That way, yep, totally. What is the tagline? Just because I can't read it in the small print under Evolved Masculine.
Be the man the world needs and the one she craves.
Have you observed this other individual online? Are they using any other of your assets, your intellectual property assets?
Not that I noticed.
And I'll go take a look with you. You said they're on Instagram?
Yeah, but also, I've got evolvedmasculine.com. They've got evolvedmasculine.co.
.co?
Yeah. So they also get my typo traffic. And
yeah, right. Well, and that is, so yeah, it's, typo squatting's a little bit different than grabbing a domain name with a different ending. But you're right that they're probably benefiting some from that. And once you have a trademark registration that's complete, you can force people off of those domains that are capitalizing on your brand.
Yeah, I don't see anything from their website that feels like it's otherwise hits my uses my IP. It was like when I stumbled across it, was very upsetting to me when I scrolled through the Instagram, and like the most recent live video I watched, it says, "Hey, this is Jordan of the Evolved Masculine." I'm like, I'm sorry, wait, what?
Totally.
Not affiliated. I don't know who you are.
Yeah. Well, and there is some, when did you come across this? It looks like they're recently, fairly new, would you guess?
I think so. I'm not sure how new, but they're doing some retreat coming up, and the retreat center tagged me.
Mm,
Yeah.
wrongly.
And so it
Yeah.
popped up my notifications.
And you're like, oh, thank you for this. Got it. Okay, that's interesting. Um, I'm just scrolling through their Instagram. Um, yeah. So, the question becomes, do you reach out to them right away and say, hey, this is a problem? Do you pursue a trademark registration first so that you can say, hey, look, I've got a trademark filing underway. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? This is a clear infringement. Any damage, any profits made using my brand name will become damages. It depends on how aggressive you want to be, but you would have some optional strategies.
So my general take on that is
Mm,
um, kind and firm with very clear, there are consequences if you don't do something about
mm-hmm.
this.
Right, right. Can you get a sense of, for lack of a better descriptor, can you get a sense of the level of sophistication of whoever's behind this, like the size of their business, whether they have access to legal, right?
If I were to guess, business is small and probably not as far as legal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, uh, here's the thing, like from what I see, I like what they're doing. That's not the problem at all. Like I would be in full
Yeah,
support of them.
right.
I mean, so
Under a
much of what
different
I do
name.
is about supporting people like them.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I don't know. I don't even know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Um,
But they all look like they're around 30 years old.
yeah.
Um, yeah, my guess is that they're small, starting out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't know if you had an individual's name that is associated with the business, and maybe we could let me do a quick
Well,
search.
on their website,
Mm-hmm.
evolmasculine.co,
Mm-hmm.
there is one of these pages. Yeah, on the retreat page, for some reason, there's a it lists their various facilitators. There's 9 of them.
Oh,
But
got
the
it.
first one listed, Jordan Ram, is the one who showed up first in the video.
Mm. Okay, got it.
And they all have very small follower counts.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
so yeah, again, it seems
Oh, there
like
we go. Yep.
they're just starting to find their way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep, here we go. I'm just looking at them. Got it. Yeah, they all probably have some, coaching business or something that they are all probably doing individually, and they somehow came together and formed this collaborative effort, right?
Mhm.
Um, yeah. Well, and it's there might be a way, especially if they have formed a business. I don't know if they've officially formed anything that would be filed in Colorado. Let's see. Just going to see if they have formed anything that includes that name at the state level.
Mm.
It's going to run a search. So there's no results that come up under Colorado Secretary of State for evolved masculine. At least that, that version, that specific version of those words. I don't know that doesn't mean that they haven't separately created, some LLC or something under a different name, but it's probably,
Yeah.
if I were to guess, and are the events this summer, is that kind of what the first you're seeing?
I don't remember. Let me take a
Let me
look.
see. Because it may be that they're just running an experiment, looks like. Oh, shortly, June
But
16 through 20.
yeah, I don't think it's their first one.
Oh, okay. Under this name.
Under Evolved Masculine Retreats.
Okay.
Where did I find them?
Yeah, because you might be able to kind of search them out individually and see a little bit what they're up to. I mean, part of what I often go through with clients is trying to decipher the level of sophistication of the other side and how they're likely to respond. You know, if these guys have enough money, are they likely to band together and try to fight you on this? Are they likely to be respectful and adjust course? Um,
My so my the way that I would think to go about it would be, hold on, get closer.
Yep.
On a call. Would be get my ducks in order. And have my communication with them be very professional and very much showing I've got my shit together more than you do. I'm prepared more than you are. And you know I'm right anyway.
Yeah.
Back the fuck up.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Okay. Well, and probably what I should do then is, because I would think that the first step of that process would be to explore getting your trademark application filed. Yeah. Maybe looking at some other things in your business. The making sure, for example, you have rights to the DBA, like that you've got that all covered, you know, in California. And then go from there.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think so that we don't continue on this call anything that we should cover separately in a private conversation. What I'll do is I'll just send you, because I think I've got your email. I'll just send you an email with a link to my page that talks more about trademark registrations. And then there's an application that you can click through to that would collect all the information that I need from you to get started. If you have any questions, obviously you can be in touch. Trademark registrations, my services start at $14.97 for a single registration, single class. Now some clients class. So when you obtain a trademark registration, you do it by class or category. Our trademark system divides up like paper goods, you know, downloadable digital items, right? There are all these categories.
Okay, since you kind of, you know, specialize in these general types of people like myself,
Totally.
Do I need a single class or is there something more that's not needed?
Well, so tell me that the quick summary would be, so for example, coaching and consulting, you know, and depending on how you deliver your services. So I've had clients that would pursue like 4 classes, registrations across 4 classes. That filing fee is not terribly significant. It's $250 per class at the trademark, the USPTO level. So it's a straight fee, you know, 1 class is obviously going to be $250, 4 classes is going to be $1,000. So, you know, the filing fee is handled separately from my services. And you just have to be aware that if we're pursuing 1 class, it's $250. If it's 2 classes, it's $500, right? It just steps up from there. Somebody who would have registrations across multiple classes, typically what their business is going to look like is they're doing, I'm just going to hit mute really quick on Vince. Welcome, Vince. There was some little bit of crazy noise, so I just hit mute on your microphone real quick, but welcome. We're having a little chat about trademarks. Coaching and consulting is going to be, kind of 1 class, but a lot of coaches and consultants have online courses and, have a lot of online stuff. It looks like Vince popped off. that may require a separate registration for their online activities. For digital download, so like I don't know if you've got a podcast or any. Do you run a podcast? Yeah. So some people will choose to protect a podcast as entertainment. That's one category, separate from a digital download, where the download is the consumable, product. And so you can actually pursue podcast protection in multiple classes if you want that. And basically what this would look like is you'd go through my questionnaire and fill out, because I ask you questions about all these categories, right? What are the types of services that you offer in your business? And then we'd have a follow-up call where we briefly discuss what I'm seeing in your application. And then we can talk about those classes as they apply to what you're doing. Because the other thing is that you could also just choose order of priority. If you're like, look, I want to protect my, whatever is the primary way you make money. Let's say it's one-on-one coaching. I want to protect my coaching and consulting services and my podcast, right? You can always add on classes later. You can always obtain additional registrations for separate classes if you want to. Some people prefer to just, do it all at once, but if you are on a budget and you need to space some of this apart, I've had clients that will say, okay, let's go for the first 2 now, and then in a year, let's grab the other ones. So there are options available for you as well.
Okay.
Especially if you've got certain really, significant priorities in your business.
Yeah. Taking care of this and making sure it doesn't happen again.
Right.
But that's definitely the top priority. But overall, as things continue to grow, have more, I want to make sure both my business and myself are protected more and more.
Right. And I'm just going to pop over to your website really quick, because one of the ways you can really signal protection online is showing people that you've taken care of your online business. That's where people are going to find you. It's where they look to see, like, does this guy look like he knows what he's doing? Would he come after me if I ripped off his stuff? Right? And it's how people work. And so evolved masculine, right? What you'd want to do, and there are, with trademarks, you can get a word mark registration or you can get a design mark, right? So you'd want to decide, are you going for the words, the evolved masculine? Is it the evolved masculine? Is it just evolved masculine, right? So there's some things that we'd want to talk about, and then because once you have a registration, that's when and by the way, once you decide to move forward with the application, you should absolutely add the TM after whatever it is that you intend to get a registration around. That signals to people that it's proprietary, that you're seeking protection. And, for somebody that's hunting around, they're going to pay attention to that. The R, which is the R in the circle, you can apply to your trademark, whether it's a word mark or design mark, once you have the registration. So you can convert that TM to the R in a circle. That's one way that everywhere in your online real estate, you can signal to people this is a protected brand, right? And then the other thing is I would want to make sure, and I'm just skimming down to the bottom of your website, terms and conditions. Just making sure. It looks like you have got kind of a brief set of terms. And it's a good start, but I can tell just by looking, it's not going to be a comprehensive set of terms, probably based on what you're doing in your business. And I'm just clicking over to your privacy policy. Do you know, where's your audience based? Are they all over?
All over.
All over the world, yeah. So you'd want an upgrade to your legal documentation online, because you'd want a GDPR compliant set of, like, your privacy policy should be upgraded so that you can continue to grow your database, including with people from the EU or wherever, and know that you are engaging in best practices from a privacy perspective. And so that might be something that you think about at some point upgrading, because through, and I've got something that's called the website protection package. The thing that I find that is really sorely missing in the legal world for small businesses, especially online businesses, is they might get basic documentation like this. Maybe it's from a free, privacy generator or wherever. But they don't get the education that actually changes the way they do business online to better lead their business from a legal perspective, from a risk perspective, dealing with data, understanding what it takes to protect an online brand. And so my website protection package includes both the documentation, and the automated version of it has both the documentation and the education that goes along with that, right? How to protect against friendly fraud, what you need to know about GDPR and privacy. There's like 8 or 10 different topic trainings that go along with the documentation that will really help bolster your confidence as a business owner in the online space. So that could be a really key piece of your kind of your growth trajectory, is making sure that you've really got that buttoned up. Carol, welcome to my friend Carol. I'm happy to see. Hi, happy to see your name on here. I'm just chatting with Destin. We're talking about website protection and trademarks.
Oh,
Yeah.
good. That's interesting too.
So that would be something else I would maybe think about, Dustin, at your stage of the game. And then if there were additional questions, I have something that is called a business risk assessment and legal roadmap strategy session. That's a way that a lot of my mid to upper level clients get started with having somebody really put eyeballs on all aspects of their business. It's a comprehensive look at what you're doing, what your current marketing plan is, any activities that you're adding in the coming year, looking at kind of where your business has been and where you're headed. And then we put basically a legal roadmap in place for you that addresses IP, like what's your strategy around that, contractual needs, and so that you really understand and have the chance to properly prioritize your legal needs in the right order based on your individual goals. And that is also one of the things that entrepreneurs in the space that I serve tend to have a hard time getting, is it's usually a little bit like this experience of having to cherry pick your legal needs. Like, I think I need a contract, I think I need a trademark, you know what I mean? What about my online? And they don't really have the comprehensive map. And I mean, I do a lot of training. Like, I don't know if you've been through my free Legal Basics Bootcamp, right? It walks through. So it's a free resource that I have on my website. I'm happy to pop it in here for you. But it walks people through my framework, which is the same framework my clients pay me to walk them through in a very specific way for their business. Legal Basics Bootcamp. But that framework will really help you understand where your legal needs come from and how to get those addressed. But that's a great resource, and it's actually the same framework I walk through with a very detailed map for the business risk assessment and legal roadmap strategy session. But I give my trainings away every day, and I teach on them online, and I really like for people to have the map first, so that when they're making strategic decisions about their business and for their business from a legal perspective, they have a lot more confidence in doing it, and they're not doing it from a place of fear.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense.
Awesome.
And thank you. I really appreciate.
Yeah, of course. It's good to connect with you face to face here. It's always nice to put a face to the name. Because I think we spoke by phone the first time. Most of my introductory calls are quick calls, and so they're over the phone. I'm going to leave the chat open, and you're welcome to pop back in, Destin. Let me check in with Carol real quick, but hopefully that gives you some places to start. And I will also, let me just grab the link to my information page on the IP registration. So if you want that, you're welcome to look at that as well. I'm just going to pop that link in for you. I'll grab the HTTP this time. See if it's coming up. My computer's being a little slow, which it sometimes does while I'm on Zoom. Carol, how are you? It's great to see you.
Yeah, thank you. It's good to see you too.
Good. And Dustin, It has been too long. There is the IP registration page.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And the other one, I'll grab actual um, the actual link so that it's a live link as well, and I'll pop that in there. Carol, how can I help you today?
Well, I wanted to ask you if you can remind me about insurance for my online program. As you know, I have malpractice insurance for my therapy, but that is nothing to do with my online. It doesn't cover it, any of that. And so I forgot to get that. So I want to get it immediately.
Good.
I just, gosh, there's so many things.
I know. You just tackle one at a time. Nobody usually does it all at once, so don't beat yourself up. It's just we walk down the path and we tackle what we can. So for insurance, the one thing that you could try, and I don't know if you've done this yet with your malpractice carrier, is I've had some therapists that I work with reach out to their malpractice insurance provider, and their malpractice insurance provider will actually tell them that yes, their insurance does cover any coaching or online offerings. And so that's been a pleasant surprise for some of my clients, not all, but that could be the first thing to check.
Yeah, I don't think that goes for psychology because it's,
okay.
Because they're having this big whoop-de-doo, drama about we're not even supposed to talk to somebody that's in another state, even if it's our clients visiting somebody in another state.
That's
crazy. They're just getting, there's a
really
bit of a rigidity in that field, my field. And so,
no, I totally understand.
It's not that won't be the case.
And the other thing that, on the flip side of this, what I tell clients is, look, from the standpoint of really truly separating your businesses, having a separate insurance actually might be better, because then from all perspectives, they really look like two separate businesses, two separate functions, two separate, levels of protection or kinds of protection. I'm just getting into my referral directory because I've got a bunch of referral links here.
Yeah, I talked to before I even set up the business, I talked to the malpractice a couple of years ago.
Okay. Yeah, so you had tried that. So let me just look. Insurance, here we go. All right, so I'm going to give you a national insurance provider. This is just so that you can kind of compare, have options. That's the first link right there. I don't know if you're able to copy and paste that. The Philadelphia Insurance Company. This is a national insurance provider. I've had multiple clients reach out to them.
Philadelphia.
Philadelphia Insurance Company. And I can email this to you. Would that be easier?
Yeah, just I don't have any way to put it right now.
Got it. Yeah, I didn't know if you're able to copy and paste on your computer and copy it over, but no worries if that's cumbersome for you. Let me, I'm just going to pop this into an email for you.
Okay, great.
How have you been?
Oh, good. I've been kind of had a setback because I had a really bad car accident on Christmas Eve, and somebody ran a stop sign and just demolished my car.
Carol, I had no idea.
Yeah, he was going so fast. And
oh my gosh.
in a Yukon XL, the biggest car you can have.
Right, those are huge.
You wouldn't even, I don't think of them as cars, like trucks maybe. And then his trailer he was hauling broke away from his car and hit me again. So my car was zero, gone. And my body was not awesome after that. So I'm still recovering, but I'm going to physical therapy and I'm okay.
Yeah.
So it messed up my brain. I didn't hit my head, but the impact, for like 2 or 3 weeks, I was like,
oh my gosh, just loopy.
Yeah. I couldn't get myself organized. It's not like I couldn't talk to clients.
Right. But
I
yeah,
did in
you're,
the third week. I couldn't the first 2 weeks,
yeah.
honestly. My daughter was just here and her husband, and
Mm.
we just
Oh, that's so rough.
kind of.
Let me ask you, did the other person have insurance? Did they
Oh
have,
yes,
yeah.
and I had to get a lawyer because I got a letter from Geico, their insurance, that said, we've determined that you're 50% responsible because you were speeding. I was going 4 or 5. I mean, I stopped at a stop sign. And then I think he also had his lights off, I'm sure, because I didn't see it. And you know how in a four-way stop, whoever, I mean, I know I've never in my life gone just stop, start. I look
Mm-hmm.
and then I go.
Yeah.
But I couldn't see it. It was pitch black, it was 6:30 on Christmas
Ugh.
Eve night
Oh my
because I
gosh.
just left my sons. And
Had you been drinking and driving? Do you have any idea? Did you call the police?
probably, I know I hadn't, but they probably. I mean, who doesn't have their lights on or even stop? And since I've been back at my son's place, I went on the road that he was on because he said, oh, I just couldn't see it. It was so foggy, which PS it wasn't. There was fog in the air, but there was no fog on the road. Like I didn't have any fog problems and he was right there. So he couldn't have either.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And I just saw, now don't they have marks? Yes, they have noticed the stop signs coming and all that. So anyway, you don't need to be going 50 or so on that street anyway. And I know I was because he pushed my car all the way across and up onto the sides, the walk, going the other way.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway.
How awful. Were the police involved? Did you call the police? Yeah.
Police, fire trucks. It was big.
I'm so sorry, Carol.
Just on my part. His car was, he came over and apologized. Of course, now he's never going to say he did that.
Right. Well, did you get some legal help sorting out liability?
Yes. Ironically, my friend who's named Colleen Barrett, she's a attorney.
Okay.
But she just retired. Now she's a mediator. But she happened to be at my house giving me some food because she, just to be helpful. And I just opened the Geico thing and I showed it to her and I said, look at this. It's about 15 minutes after I opened it. I'm just like,
oh my God,
what the hell? And so, and then her boyfriend he called us, or her. He didn't know she was at my house, but he called me and she told him about my accident. So when he heard that, he just said, oh, that's it. Okay, I'm taking your case.
So he's an attorney.
So he's been and he's a personal injury attorney.
Oh, got it. So is he doing a good job for you?
I guess. I mean, I don't know, like I'm not trying to settle anything right now because I lost a tooth from it because I the crash was so hard that I grabbed, I was holding tight and I probably clenched my teeth together. And it broke all the way through the root of the tooth. And so there was no way to fix it. And so I had to have it extracted. And it's going to be 7 months before I get it back.
Before you can replace it. Oh, I'm so sorry. What an ordeal.
Isn't that just annoying?
I mean, so
I just like, well, that just caps it the hell off.
Right. I know. Gosh.
But one thing it did for me, when they took me to the ER, I had blood in my urine and they thought it was just because it was minor. It looked just like it was the insurance. I mean, the accident.
The accident, yeah.
And so, but 2 months later, I still had it. and they found out I have kidney stones.
Oh, so you
So
learned
that's,
about
I wouldn't have known
those.
that because I didn't have any symptoms.
Yeah.
So I'm getting them out next month, a week from today.
Oh gosh. How
So
do you?
it's just felt like there's physical therapy, there's all my dentistry, there's my, once in a while I get a little brain freeze, but not much. I mean, it's almost all gone now,
Yeah.
if not all gone. And now I have to have my things out. So I'm just like,
Oh, Carol.
could there be a little
Please.
time with nothing, please?
Right. Please. Let's invite that. Nothing, nada, just full recovery.
Just concentration.
Oh, I'm so
Anyway.
sorry. I'm so sorry. That is
Well,
just...
I'm just telling you, it's not, I don't feel, I'm so glad it's kidney stones because I know my doctor thought I had kidney cancer.
Oh gosh.
But when they did the x-ray, it's clearly that's not the problem.
That's not it. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, good heavens.
I kind of knew I didn't anyway.
Yeah.
Because I have since I did have breast cancer, I go to the doctor every 6 months and they do this whole tumor. I mean, they do this blood test that can show if you've got any stuff. And I knew I didn't because I just had it but I thought, well, maybe that's not, maybe it's only for breast cancer, which makes no sense. It probably isn't, but
yeah.
So anyway, so I was worried, but not horrified like I would have been. I really didn't think I had kidney cancer.
Yeah.
But I had never had, I didn't even know anybody that had kidney stones. But now apparently lots of people do. Now that I tell them.
Right. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's quite common, I guess.
Yeah.
And all the things I eat, all the things are not okay.
Oh gosh, like what?
Like, okay, here was my smoothie before I went to the doctor and found this out. I had almond milk, 1 tablespoon of almond butter, 2 handfuls of spinach, and vanilla protein powder. Spinach is one of the worst things you can have. Almonds is the worst nut you can have.
Really? For kidneys?
I also can't have
kidney stones.
Yeah, because
kidney stones.
Yeah. So spinach, especially almonds, but any nuts or seeds, yams, Swiss chard, which is my favorite green that you cook. Yeah.
How are these things not good for kidneys?
I know. Who knew?
This is crazy.
I've been eating all this stuff my whole life, but now it makes me have kidney stones. And they're big, apparently, which is great because that means they can't come out.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not just gonna
come out and cause a ton of pain.
Oh yeah. I had no idea I had kidney stones.
Oh my gosh. Carol, I'm so sorry. Wow, what a journey.
Isn't that just annoying?
It is so
like,
annoying.
What the hell? All these happy things.
Right.
I mean, healthy things. Like, what?
That is craziness. Gosh.
So anyway, I may not have that kind of kidney stone. I'm pretty sure I do. But there's apparently more than one kind. And so once that they're out, they're going to do some testing and see what I in particular shouldn't be.
Got it.
I don't care
able to figure that out.
I love chocolate, but I don't care if I shouldn't eat that. But spinach, almond butter, almond milk, or any kind of milk, like cashew milk, or
can you do oat milk?
I don't even know if coconut, because it has nut in the name. Now I'm worried about coconut milk.
I know. I wonder about oat milk.
Oat milk is probably fine. And here's the thing that just really bugs me. Now I'm supposed to eat 3 servings of dairy, 1 at each meal.
What?
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
I know. But I read it in the American Kidney Association, in the Mayo Clinic thing, and in Dr. MD or whatever. Yeah.
Really? But everywhere else you hear that dairy is so inflammatory.
I know. Apparently inflammatory is fine if you don't have kidney stones. But
Oh my gosh.
no, I don't. And I had been on a really clean diet for 3 or 4 weeks, and I lost like 11 pounds, and that was great.
Oh wow. Good
And
for you.
no, maybe maybe a month. Yeah, and now I can't go any further because I don't know what to eat, because
Yeah.
spinach, almond butter, it's actually not one of those low fat diets. It's not anything. It's a more like cleansing diet.
Really clean eating. Yeah.
Yes, clean eating, not any weird,
Yeah.
not fasting or
Yeah.
just just drinking stuff.
Yeah.
That's not
Totally.
me at all.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, now but they did say gluten isn't good.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I've been gluten-free and dairy-free for years, but I just feel like everybody's so different. These journeys in our bodies, it's just like sometimes feels a little bit like figuring the map out in the dark,
mhm, I know, especially this, because this
Mm.
that clean eating
Mm-hmm.
was so good for me. I
Yeah.
felt so good
Well, I
because I've
wonder.
always been loving milk, yogurt, not
Mm-hmm.
sweet yogurt, just plain yogurt. I
Yep.
really love it. But I stopped it and I really felt pretty good,
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Now I'm back. Well, really, I
Uh,
haven't been, but now that I remind myself, yes, I really have to eat that stuff. So
oh my goodness. It's just
weird.
so crazy. I know. That is weird. Well, good luck figuring that out. I hope you're able to sort out a diet that helps you feel good and avoids those kidney stones.
And avoids all that dairy. I don't
Yeah.
really. I don't mean I'm lactose intolerant. I don't think
Well,
I
and
am
if
at
it's
all.
about, my question is if it's about getting the calcium in, there surely are other ways to get beneficial calcium. You know what I mean?
There's something about um, dairy. I don't know why they want it. I
Mm.
guess well, it might be hard to get calcium in without the greens and,
Hmm.
I don't know. It didn't say why. That's why right now I'm not doing as much of that
Yeah.
although I did throw away my spinach because it's the worst one of all, which I
Yeah.
love spinach.
Yeah.
If you all I need is spinach and like pieces of chicken and some
Totally.
other vegetables and a little olive oil and vinegar, and I'm satisfied. Or tuna
Yes.
fish or something stupid like that, but I love that.
Um, I'm just looking. I think, yeah, you're right. It looks like they may have to figure out what kind of stones they are, but it says eating and drinking calcium foods such as milk, yogurt, and some cheese and oxalate-rich foods together during a meal. The oxalate and calcium from the foods are more likely to bind to one another in the stomach and intestines before entering the kidneys. This will make it less likely that kidney stones will form. Interesting. So it is about binding because certain minerals like calcium do bind to other things, but this is why gluten and dairy can be problematic because they can do such a good job binding that you actually don't absorb the other nutrients.
And I know spinach has been one that for the maximum value you should cook it.
Yes.
But I like to have it raw.
Well, and if you are having, because yeah, I've actually read that, and I've had several people that are kind of health experts in the health world say this whole push to like eat copious amounts of spinach and kale is actually not good. They have, and I think it's I thought it was oxalic acid that I
Yeah.
thought there's some kind of acid that they form that because that actually prevents bugs from eating them. But the problem is we are not able to really break that down in a way that's beneficial for us. And so it can cause a lot of problems with thyroid. It's why if you have a goiter or thyroid issue, you actually shouldn't be eating any cruciferous vegetables raw. And so cauliflower,
Oh,
broccoli,
broccoli
spinach,
is
all
my
of that
favorite
cooked.
food, but I hate raw broccoli and raw cauliflower.
Right. All of
To
those
me,
should be
it's
cooked. But
disgusting.
kale and spinach is the same. And a lot of people will consume that raw and actually make health conditions worse.
Ah,
I
like me,
know.
apparently.
I guess. I don't
In my
know.
clean eating diet, that was, kale and spinach were big deals.
Yeah.
And I finally, I bought kale after I couldn't eat the spinach. Okay.
Well, just cook it. Don't put it in your smoothies. You can still have it in your diet. I would just cook it and test whether that. Yeah. So most stones occur when calcium combines with oxalate.
Oh,
So if you
stones and make calcium and oxalate?
yeah, most stones occur when calcium combines with oxalate. Stones can also form from uric acid, which is a byproduct of protein metabolism. So if you're having too much protein in your diet, that's another probably problem.
Oh, Lord.
I know. Drink plenty of water. Eat calcium-rich foods. Dietary calcium binds to oxalate in your intestines, and that decreases the amount of oxalate that gets into the bloodstream. Reduce sodium, limit animal protein, and then avoid stone-forming foods. Yeah, you're right. Beets, chocolate, spinach, rhubarb, tea, and most nuts are rich in oxalate, which can contribute to kidney stones.
I don't think herbal tea is, but I think maybe black tea and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and if it might just be that you make a few minor changes, you know what I mean, and test that. It might be that spinach every day is the thing that's causing problems for you, depending on how much spinach you're using,
Oh, yeah. I was using probably not two
cups.
handfuls
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah.
like 6 days a week. And then I have eggs on one day just because
Yeah.
it's easy to make a smoothie at night and then just mix it in the day.
Yeah, totally.
Because, getting up early like we try to, right?
Oh, I know. Well, you might just try taking that spinach out. You could get like an organic greens powder or something and still get some greens in, but not have it be from spinach. And then
I tried to put arugula in. I did put arugula in
it's kind of
instead
bitter.
because I love that too. But
Yeah.
wow, that is hard for even my Vitamix, which is, sort of like that workhorse.
Right.
To make it, it just wouldn't go away. I mean, it just wouldn't, what would you say, liquefy or something.
Totally.
Oh,
Yeah,
I just realized I have a meeting in 2 minutes.
Yeah, no worries. I'll let you go. I'm going to drop an email over in that email.
So do you have another one besides Philadelphia Insurance?
I do. I've got a Washington-based one, and then actually maybe a couple. And then I have a whole list that were provided by my legal listserv. So I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think, that are also local. So you'll have quite a list.
Okay.
You could just
make
some phone calls and find out, do you cover coaches? Here's the area that I specialize in, right? Here's what I'm doing, and just find out if they provide coverage for somebody like you and, for that kind of a business, because some will and some won't. But Philadelphia, I know, has covered other coaches I've worked with. Washington, the reference Jamie Wheeler, if she's still doing this, she reached out to me specifically because she does cover coaches. And that was at a time when a lot of coaches were struggling to find insurance. So hopefully she is still available. But yeah, you should have some good options in that list.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, it's so good to you know, when all things are calmed down and you know, and no masks are required, let's just have coffee or something. I mean, we
Oh,
live
it'd
in the
be
same
great.
city.
I know. I would love that. I would love
Good.
that.
All
Yes.
right. Well, I'll
All right.
keep in
Watch
touch.
your
Thank
email. I'm
you
going to hit
so much.
send. You're welcome. We'll talk to
Okay.
you soon.
All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Carol.